Hello, hello. Another fun, hot summer Monday. By the way, I feel like we should start playing a game called What's in Kristina's Mug? If it's evening, it's probably going to be wine. Maybe like a scoop of vanilla ice cream with some Cabernet on top. Right now, I've already had coffee. And right now I'm drinking chocolate milk. So it's like I fed the adult in me with the coffee, and now this is the kid in me drinking chocolate milk. Which, by the way, if you guys keep asking me about these mugs, you can order them. Little things. Will you do me a favor, because I'm bad at multitasking, and post a link so that people can have their own Truth Bomb mug. Seriously, when's the last time you had chocolate milk, though? I feel like we adults don't drink enough chocolate milk. Give me a thumbs up if a cold glass of chocolate milk is just like the best comfort drink ever sometimes. But I'm telling you, this evening, I'm having another one, and I'm like pouring a little bit of Bailey's in there or something because mommy needs it. Okay, I was thinking about what we should talk about today, and last week, I know a lot of you saw it. I got a lot of comments on it. I posted a video called Teenagers with an exclamation mark. That's like the most important part of the title. Because it's not like, oh, I have a teenager. It's like, I have a teenager. And if you haven't seen it, don't leave me right now. Do not leave me right now. After we're done, go look for it. It's on my page. It's on the Little Things page. But I've done a lot of videos about toddlers. I did the whole lessons I've learned from my 2-year-old video. And I did if adults acted like toddlers. There's a lot of toddler stuff. And I started hearing from parents, hey, we know you have a teenager, make one about teenagers. So since you guys had such a big response to that video and how hormonal and moody teenagers are, I figured that maybe that's something we should discuss today. And if you don't have a teenager, but you have a child that's younger, it's coming. That time is coming. So listen up. And if you have kids who are already grown, you'll be able to relate to it. And if you have no children, maybe you have a teenage dog, which, by the way, both my dogs are teenagers right now. And I swear dogs in their teenage years are kind of like humans in their teenage years. They just go a little cuckoo. Anyway, I think we should talk about it. I do think teenagers get a bad rep. I do think teenagers are really difficult, on the other hand, and they make us crazy. So it's trying to balance all that stuff together. So I want to first tell you a story that kind of helped me. This is before I had kids, but that helped me really decide how I wanted to deal with my teenagers. So when I was in my early 20s, I worked as an assistant theater director at a high school, which was ridiculous because I was literally too young to be even dealing with that age. But because I was so young, I think I was 22 when I got the job. Because I was so young, these kids that were literally only like 4 or 5 years younger than me felt like they could trust me more than maybe they would trust another adult. So I would have some of these kids come up to me and open up, after school, can I talk to you? And they would open up about really heavy stuff. I mean, I remember this one girl opening up to me. She was 15, I think, or 16, but the fact that she thought she was pregnant at 15, 16, and I was the only person she was telling this to, and she was petrified. And I'm sitting there, and I remember saying, sweetheart, you have got to talk to your parents. You have to talk to your parents. She was like, no, I can't. I was like, you have to. And her opinion, and I think a lot of teens have this opinion of us parents, was they will never understand. I cannot open up to them. This will end my life. So and at the time I kept thinking, man, someday when I have kids, I hope they will not be in that situation. But if they are, I want them to come talk to me. I don't want them to talk to some random teacher before they talk to me. I want them to come talk to me. So how do we do that, right? How do we create an environment? And give me thumbs up if you understand what I'm talking about, right? Because we want to create an environment where there are rules and you don't break those rules because I want the best for you. And there have to be guidelines. You don't just get to do whatever you want because you're still a kid and your brain isn't developed yet and you need my guidance. On the other hand, I want my kids to come to me and tell me stuff and not, be like, well, I don't want to be in trouble, so I'm not going to tell my mom everything. I think that is one of the hardest things as a parent. Do you guys agree? Trying to find that balance of I have to be strict, fair, but strict, and yet I want you to talk to me about everything. You have to be able to come to me. And by the way, that was not the only situation. I had a kid come and tell me about like severely being bullied, and he was scared to tell his parents. I mean, kids were opening up to me about stuff and they were scared to tell their parents. So the one thing I find with my teenagers, okay, let me start with this. I think we tend to parent out of fear. Do you guys understand what I'm talking about? We literally, our motivation behind parenting ends up being fear. I think that's normal. I think it makes sense, but I think it is a very dangerous way to parent, because if we're only parenting out of, oh my gosh, what's going to happen to my kid? And I'm worried this will happen, and I'm worried this will happen. If every decision we make as a parent is motivated by fear, first of all, our kids are going to be stress cases because that's what they're getting from us, right? Second of all, they're not going to open up to us because we are literally always on edge, waiting for them to fall, waiting for them to fail, waiting for something bad to happen. That's not going to build a good relationship. And yet, how do we get rid of that? Because we are scared. We are scared. They're teenagers. I mean, drugs and sex and peer pressure and, oh my gosh, are they going to graduate? And I want them to be able to, get a job that they like, and I want them to be responsible. I mean, hello, normal, right? To have fears. So I would love for you guys to comment and tell me where you are with all this. Like, tell me, how are you handling all this? How are you finding that balance? For me, one of the things that I really try to do, and by the way, let me just be really blunt. I am the first to tell you, I do not have this whole thing figured out. I fail as a parent daily. I mean, daily. Sometimes I fail hourly. Okay. Today, I failed like 5 times in like 2 minutes. Okay. So I do not have this thing all figured out. And if anybody tells you they have it all figured out, they don't. I don't care if they have 3 PhDs in child psychology. They do not have it figured out, because parenting is the hardest thing ever. And every single child is different. Every circumstance is different. Every family is different. I mean, when you add all the stuff, right, it's just, there's not one formula. There's not one solution. So the one thing that I've been trying to do, and again, please comment, tell me what you're doing, because I want to read those comments. Other people, again, this is not about me yapping at you. It's about all of us. It takes a village. I always say that. It's about all of us trying to just help each other out. So the one thing that I try to do is, when I'm in that moment where I'm like, oh my gosh, my kid is driving me nuts, I don't know what to do, how do I handle this? I will actually step away for a second before I lose my mind, and I will ask myself, what did I need at that age? What did I need at that age? One thing I say in the teen video, and most of it is just, a lot of it is funny, and I'm sort of making fun of the moods that teenagers go through. But at the end, I say that I have to stop myself from going, oh, parenting a teenager is so hard for me. And I have to think outside myself and go, hold on, being a teenager is so hard for him. I mean, think about you when you were a teenager, the insecurities, the pressures, the moodiness that we don't even understand, right? We're crying one second, the next second we're happy. We're like pregnant people, right? I mean, literally, I remember when I was pregnant, my moods would switch like that. I feel like that's how my teenagers' moods are. So we get so consumed with, oh my gosh, parenting a teenager is so hard, that we sort of forget, what do they need? So I will step away from the situation when I'm really frustrated and go, okay, Kristina, stop. What did you need at that age? What did you need at that age? And just to be very clear, because you guys know I'm tough on my kids as far as like, there are rules, there are guidelines. They're not my best buddies. I'm the parent, you're the kid. That's how it works. So I'm not saying that means that I'm gonna, what did I need at that age? And I'm just gonna give in to everything. Because the question isn't what did I want at that age? It's what did I need at that age? That's the difference. If we're thinking about all that our kids want, we're going to shower them with a bunch of crap that in the long run will not work out very well for them, because they're going to be entitled brats. So instead of saying, what does my kid want right now? Think, what do they need? Because kids need guidelines. We're going to take a quick break, and then I'm going to talk about the guidelines. And I want you to seriously comment, give me your input. But we're going to take a quick break while I sip on my chocolate milk like I'm 2 years old. All right, we're back. By the way, I am always wondering, like, do you guys get where I'm coming from? Because I do have mommy brain, which basically is like a brain that's leaking. That's what it feels like. It feels like, It feels like, this is a weird analogy, but I'm just using it, and I'm half asleep right now, so if it doesn't make sense, just go with it. It's like my brain used to be a water balloon, and then I had a kid, and somebody like poked it a little bit, and so like the brain power and like the juice of the brain started leaking, and then another kid and like another poke, and now it's literally just like a deflated, did you get that? A deflated brain. That's what it feels like. So I don't think I'm always thinking straight. But so let me know if you guys are picking up what I'm putting down, as my husband would say. Okay, so yes, I take a second and I think, what did I need at that age? Because it just helps you go, okay, this is where my kid's coming from. They're frustrated, blah, blah, blah. And again, not what did I want? What did I need? Here's why I think it's important to think about the needs more than the wants, other than the obvious reasons. This is how I always tell when parents are like, I'm just my kid's best buddy, and that's what we are, and I think that's great. Here's the analogy I always use. If you walk into a new job, okay, your first day at a new job, it's a big company, you walk in, what are you feeling? You're anxious, right? You're walking in, you're not completely sure what your role is. You don't really know the rules of the company yet. You don't know how everything's gonna run. You don't know who you can trust and who you can't. I mean, uncomfortable, right? You guys remember, think about the first day of high school too, right? Any at first in a big place is intimidating. Okay, and what makes you feel better at that point? You're in this big company. When you have a supervisor or someone come by and go, hey, hi, you know what? I'm here to guide you. I'm here to help you. I'm going to tell you what the rules are, and I'm going to tell you how, the best way to follow these rules and what the guidelines are and what needs to be done and when it needs to be done. We have deadlines. That always feels better, because otherwise you're left and you're like, I don't know when this is due and I don't know where this goes and right? It gives us anxiety to not have some kind of guidelines and rules. That is your kid. That is your kid entering the world, okay? You entering that big company, it's the kid entering the world. And if they have a parent that is just their buddy and whatever you want, that may be fun, but that actually can cause anxiety in kids. Kids need guidelines. They need rules. They need to know that somebody's in charge. They don't need somebody to constantly be at their level. If you're walking into a new gig, a new job, if you're walking into a high school as a high school student first day, what's going to make you feel more comfortable? Just another buddy to walk you around who also doesn't know what's going on? Or somebody who's in charge, who's going to say, hey, I got it, and you can follow my lead, but I am going to lead. Same with the boss. Same with parents and kids. They need a leader. They need you to lead. They don't need you to be their equal little buddy. They need you to lead them and guide them. And that way they will feel more comfortable. They will feel more confident if they know there are rules, there are guidelines. This is how this runs. So do not be afraid to set rules. Setting rules, following through, which by the way, is like the hardest thing when you're a parent, is following through, because it's annoying and it's inconvenient. And when I say you're going to lose screen time if this happens, and then it happens and I have to follow through, well, I was hoping they'd have that screen time, because now I'm having to deal with them whining about the fact that they don't have screen. Do you know what I mean? It's hard to follow through. It's hard, but we have to do it. And it actually will build healthier, more confident kids, to know their guidelines, their rules. And having those guidelines, having those rules does not make you a mean dictator. You can be a strict parent that follows through and still be a loving, fun parent who your kids are going to feel like they can open up to, because you're there. There are rules and there are guidelines, but if you need to talk about anything, I'm here and I will never shut you down. Which brings me to 2 more points. I know I'm kind of all over the place, but so are teenagers. So it kind of goes with the theme, right? We're sticking with the theme here. I wrote an article a while ago on my website called Fun Strict Parenting, or maybe it was Strict Fun Parenting. I think it was Fun Strict Parenting. And I talk about, and I'm going to make a video about this for you guys, because I think it's important. It's really helped me as a parent. How I find the balance between being the fun parent, where we find ways to celebrate everything life, and we have dance parties in the driveway, and we get dirty looks from neighbors sometimes. And there's a lot of joy and humor and pranking and fun in our life. At the same time, I'm strict, and my kids know they have chores, they have to follow through. I will follow through on things. They have to follow through on things. There's this balance of being a strict fun parent. If you're all fun and games, you're not preparing them for real life, because real life is not like that. And if you're all strict, you become a dictator, and there's not that close relationship where they will come talk to you. I believe that I can create an environment in my family where my kids will come talk to me, but they won't feel like they can talk down to me. or over me. It's finding that balance. And part of that is from a very young age. So this starts before they're teenagers. We have to make our kids feel like we will not shut them down. Think about how many times a kid at any age, I don't care what age it is, they come to you with a question where you're like, no. You are too young. You are too young to ask about sex. Nope, we will talk about that in a few years. You freak out, right? Nope, we're not talking about that right now. You're too young. You're too young. Don't do that. Don't do that. Because if you think that doing that is going to get your kid to stop asking you, you're right. They'll stop asking you and they'll start asking somebody else. And who do you want them asking about sex or drugs or violence or terrorism or any big, or death? Any big issue that you're like, too young, we're not talking about it. If you shut your kid down, A, they're not going to talk to you. B, they'll talk to somebody else. Maybe they'll Google it on the internet. Create an environment where, I don't care how uncomfortable you are, and I've told you guys this before, in front of them, yeah, sure. You want to talk about that? Yeah, let's talk about that. That's great. And then behind closed doors, you can grab your glass of wine and be like, oh my Lord, no, and scream and punch things. Do you know what I'm saying? So if your kid comes to you at a young age and they're asking about something really uncomfortable, you don't have to go into every detail, but don't shut them down. Answer them at an age-appropriate level, what makes you comfortable, but give them an answer. Now that starts building a relationship where they know I can talk to my parent about everything. They will not freak out. Even when they tell you that they did something bad, you can deal with it without completely freaking out where they're like, oh my gosh, my mom's gonna lose her mind. I can't tell her anything. Because God forbid your kid is that 15-year-old that is worried she's pregnant. Again, I don't wish that upon anyone. But if that happens in your family, don't you want your kid coming to you and telling you and you talking it through? So that starts at such an early age. I cannot tell you how many times my kids, especially my oldest, he's a teenager now, he would come to me at the youngest age and mention something he heard at school and be like, hey mom, so what's oral sex? And I'm like, what? My reaction was not that. Inside it was. Because I was like, where did you hear that? I just wanted to and be like, no, you're too young. But instead I was like, oh, yeah, let's talk about that. And then I found an age-appropriate way to explain it and put it to rest. If I had freaked out, my kid would have been like, okay, well, I'm still curious. Mom freaked out. I'm going to go ask my buddy. And I have no idea what the buddy would have done. Maybe the buddy would have said, let's ask my older brother. And the older brother would have given him all kinds of details. I know it's uncomfortable. Anybody that promised you that parenting would be comfortable is a liar. They lie to your face. Parenting is not comfortable. Wiping my kid's butt is not comfortable for me, okay? It's not comfortable. There are a lot of things about parenting. Being thrown up on, that's not comfortable. I have never had one of my small children vomit all over me. And trust me, I've been vomited on my face. And I've never had that happen and sit there and go, this is quite comfortable. As the vomit is dripping from my eyeballs, I am very comfortable right now. That has never happened to me. I sat there and went, what is happening to my life? I hate this moment. It's okay to be uncomfortable, by the way. It's okay to be uncomfortable in life. A lot of things will make us uncomfortable in parenting. Push through it. Be the type of parent for your kid that they can come to when they're a teenager. And again, that doesn't mean that they think, oh, I can go to my parent and tell them that I'm selling drugs and they'll be like, that's cool, whatever. No, they know you're strict, they know you're firm, but they also know you are there for them. I made a video called, you know what, I'm gonna tell you about that in a second. Let's take one more break because I don't have enough chocolate milk in my life. Let's take one more break. I'll be right back. And we're back. You know what? I'm just going to keep sipping on this while I'm talking to you. I made a video a while back. You guys freaking went nuts. It's got over 60 million views called I'm Not Your Friend, Kid. A lot of the stuff I'm talking about now is in that. But then some parents didn't get it. They were like, I can be a parent and a friend to my kid, which I personally disagree with. And here's why. I don't tell my friends when to go to bed. I don't wipe my friends' butts. Although if it was a crazy emergency, I totally would take one for the team, just for the record, but I don't usually. And I also don't open up to my friends about really personal things, like if financial issues Or I'm frustrated with my ex-husband. I'm not going to go to my children and talk to my children about that. I don't think that's appropriate to talk about their dad that way. But I might vent to a friend, a close friend. So I think there definitely is a difference between being a friend and being a parent. So the follow-up video I made to that, to explain it, is I'm not your friend, but always your ally. And that's what you want. You want your kid to know mom's in charge or dad's in charge. We are not on the same level. By the way, do you understand the human brain isn't even done developing till I think it's 24 or 25? They're not done developing. How can you be on the same level? They need you to guide and lead. They don't need you to be their equal buddy. You are not equals. You're not, period. Are they paying rent? Are they paying mortgage? You're not equals. Do they understand all the crazy depth and how complicated life is? They don't. They need you to guide them. They need you to lead, right? So they need a parent, but at the same time, they need an ally. Your kid should never think that you are their enemy. Even when you're strict. I mean, I always tell parents, when I am, upset with my kid and they've done something wrong and I set a consequence and I'm like, this is what needs to happen. I always end it with, I love you. I want you to forgive yourself. I want you to let it go. There's still a consequence, but I don't want you to beat yourself up over this. I don't want you to dwell on your mistakes, because dwelling, feeling like a loser has never helped anyone thrive in life. I love you. And that's why, I love you enough that I need you to learn from this. So there are consequences to this. So be an ally to your kid. And the more you're an ally, the more when they reach that teenage age, they will open up to you. And remember, always ask, what did I need at that age? What does my child need? Not what they want, because I'll tell you what they want. They want to run their own life. They want to be 14, 15, acting like an adult, freedom of an adult, but not responsibilities of an adult. That's what they want. Well, that's not real life, and they can't handle that. So what do they need? They need you to love them so much, but love them by guiding them. Love them enough to do what is right. Love them enough to set them up for a successful future. And I don't mean success by being a doctor or lawyer. I mean successful future by being kind and not being entitled and knowing how to take care of their basic needs. That kind of guiding and teaching and loving them. Woo! I get so rolled up. I get so excited. Anyway, teenagers are tough, okay? I feel ya. I'm going through it. I got a teenage boy. I got a preteen girl. I am feeling the pain you parents of teenagers are going through, but we got this. We were all teenagers. We all made it. We're all here to talk about it and vent about it and laugh about it. All right, speaking of teenagers, I'm going to finish my chocolate milk, and I'm going to go parent my children. Please comment and give me all the advice. I love when the grandmas comment and give all us younger moms advice. We need it. We need it. I love you all. I will see you next week. Have a great week. You got this, parents. You got it.